pricking of my thumbs. Something wicked this way comes.
He's the biggest man I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to fight him. He's the biggest man I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to fight him.
I awoke this morning after a fitful night's sleep. My dreams had been formless, yet disturbing, and I found that when fully awake, two emotive words were flitting constantly through my conscious mind. Somehow I'd brought them back with me from the netherworld. The letters were shifting and evolving in shape, endlessly morphing glyphs, akin to those security words which occasionally we're compelled to key in on a computer to prove that one is neither blackguard nor charlatan. Onwards and onwards went this dance macabre, the shimmering letters always forming the same two words in my fretful mind's eye. I knew I had to somehow lay them to rest or put them to use, otherwise they would haunt me forever. It was a sign, but a sign of what? As often on his day, thoughts turned towards him, and a tale began to unfold in my mind, a story about him based around and upon these words. Here it is. The big man awakens after a particularly heavy night on the cider. He's feeling rather more jaded than usual, feeling a bit Welsh, as he describes it himself. And the mariner's wash is less than invigorating this morning. He thinks nothing of it, hoping it will pass as the day wears on, as has often been the case countless times before. He spends a pleasant enough day pottering around the garden, the greenhouse, tending to his herbs, and roses. But come the evening, he's still feeling on the wrong side of good, very much so. A foreboding full moon rises slowly in the dark night sky, and as often of late, some unwelcome visitors pay the big man a call. Livestock has been going missing in the area again, and several savagely mutilated carcasses have been found. Fear, superstition, and parochial ignorance has led many neighbours to suspect him of these ungodly acts. The villagers draw closer, carrying burning briar torches, pitchforks, pikes and ropes, determined to carry out yet another attempt at lynching, or at the very least drive this big man away from so near to their homes. They're no real threat to the big man. He summarily dispatches the ringleaders with consummate ease and puts the rest of the rabble to flight. But once the last shrieks have died down in the distance, a strange and unsettling realization descends upon the big man. There's no hiding the fact from himself that on this occasion the fray has drained him both physically and mentally, taken more out of him than usual, and his strength is not returning as quickly as once it did. The big man spends the rest of the night darkly brooding, sombre and introspective. What can this mean? What can this mean? He mutters over and over. Then it dawns on him. This can mean one thing and one thing only. It's high time for him to find someone he can train in his ways. Someone who can take on the mantle of the big man, pass down the knowledge and inspiration of him and what he stands for to the generations yet to come. It's time for him to take an apprentice. So that's the beginning of the story. It's going to be entitled Brutal Tutelage. Brutal Tutelage. For indeed it will be brutal tutelage. But let us hope he's able to find someone strong enough, broad-shouldered enough and broad-minded enough to have the courage to learn his ways and to follow in his mighty footsteps. Chapter 1, coming soon.
By the pricking of my thumbs. Something wicked this way comes.
He's the biggest man I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to fight him. He's the biggest man I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to fight him.